Hey, Poultry Nerds. We are back today, and I'm going to do a video because Gary's not here to do what he normally does, which is start all of the electronic stuff. Hopefully, I do it right. But I'm here with Christian from, are we just going to be from Quail OS today, or are we going to be from all your company name?
I'm a multipreneur a little bit. Quail OS is the product from Undik.
Undicate. I always call it Undicate. Now you say it, and I forgot how I always tell David about it, is what I say. So we're here with Christian from Undink or Undikit. Is that how you say it in Austrian?
It's Latin, or Undik is the English version. It means from all sides, from all directions, right?
Okay.
That's the meaning behind that name. And the reason why is because we ship, for example, eggs from all directions, right? That's the name of my company. I'm 5 years in business, and thanks for having me today, Jennifer.
Well, you're welcome. We actually got to meet in person not too long ago, and you kind of are from all directions too, and everywhere.
Thank you so much that I could stop with my camper on my way to Texas and back. That was very nice to meet in person as well. And yeah, I like to be in many directions. As you mentioned earlier, and I'm originally from Austria. I live now in New Jersey. I used to live in Ireland for a couple of years, so it's kind of in my DNA. My family is all around the globe as well, so it's kind of in my DNA, and that's why I named my company as well, from all sides, from all directions.
So you're kind of nerdy. I'm
Yeah.
gonna give that as a compliment, but you're like computer nerdy.
Oh yeah, yeah. Ever since my brother bought a computer, I guess you can call it a computer, in 1990. So I'm aging myself a little bit. I'm a little bit of a computer nerd. So yeah, I learned how to code when I was 10 years old. And I've ever since worked in the IT computer industry until I created my own company 5 years ago. But yeah, I'm a bit of a nerd, poultry nerd. Kind of the format is perfect for me.
Yep. And so now you've moved from just selling eating eggs and hatching eggs to creating this app
That's right.
a whole big app. I thought I was doing spectacular with website stuff. And
Yeah.
you've created this whole
It's the whole ecosystem, a whole app for your Android phone. You can install it there. On the iPhone, you can install it. But the cool thing is you can use it on the computer as well. And the reason why I created it was when I started with my quail business, there was no specific software around for quail, but also in poultry in general, where you can do business related stuff, right? See if you're actually profitable, write an invoice to a customer, do shipping. I wanted something where you can do it all in one thing, to manage your flock, to track your hatches, all the different things what we do in our business. When I started 5 years ago, I needed an accounting software, I needed a shipping software, I needed spreadsheets to kind of track my hatches and my production of the eggs or the dog treats what I make. And even until now, I use still a lot of different software packages to run my business. And I think if somebody starts out new now, it would be nice to have something which does everything in one app. And it is a web app, what I coded here. And I want to help other farms to streamline their business, to give them tools at their hands, which are just making their lives a little bit easier. Because I know computer stuff, building websites is one thing, but then having an actual system in place where you can write invoices, track your expenses, all that stuff which comes with running a business, that's the tricky thing. I figured, okay, I built something for myself in the background, and now what I have done and used for the last 5 years, I bring it now to the people, that they can have a bit of easier start compared than how it was for me 5 years ago.
So you said it would invoice also?
You can write invoices with it and things like that. For your little tour of what it does, we have it here on the screen, so it can do a ton of things, and it's really, really easy to use. Step one is that you sign up for it. And if you already sign up, step two is just to sign in, and then the system loads up, and then you can do a lot of different things.
Is it free to sign up?
The sign up is for free, and I want to keep it for free, the basic functionality. But obviously, for certain functionality, I need to charge money because it costs me money too, right? For example, you can create shipping labels in the system. So obviously you have to pay for the shipping labels, right? If you want to get better rates on your shipping labels, then you need to upgrade to a different farm tier. But compared to all the tools I'm using in business, the pricing is actually pretty moderate. And we are looking actively right now sponsor as well to make sure we can keep it free forever here. So all those functions we see here on the left in the main area to track your egg production, where you can log how much you collect, your hatch tracking, bird inventory, and so on. All those are for free and will stay for free. And yeah, it's everything you do, daily business.
Under bird inventory, can you separate it by color?
Oh, yes, you can. And so right now in this tracking here, I only have in here, but I could add a batch and say, okay, I have here some Egyptian. I recently hatched some Egyptian from somebody I know. Great hatch rate. Thank you for that. But what is cool, I can also put in an estimate for the daily food consumption because the system can warn you when you run out of food. And it happens, I think it happened to all of us at some stage that we were running low on food.
Uh-huh.
I can also put in which location they're in, so I keep a bit organized. And we have here different statuses as well in case I sell them later or I have them processed. I can retire them in here. But for now, those birds, for example, are alive, and let's assume they hatched today, for example. So I can put that here in the system, and then it tracks their age. And that's the main question everybody has, how many birds you got, right? Some people lose track of it a little bit. With this, you don't lose track of it anymore, how many birds you have to feed. And then if you put in your feed inventory, you keep basically track on how much feed you buy. And you can basically see here in the feed management and forecasting how many days of feed you have remaining. So
that's neat.
And based on that, in the next version, I probably might make a reminder which pops up on your screen. Hey, you're running low. You should head to the store now, the local feed dealer of your choice, and get some more.
If we inputted how much feed I go through, it might break your app.
Let's try. I tested it here for a few thousand pounds, so we do have space here.
Okay, good. Because I was going to say 50 pounds, man. That's
like
a third of what I use in a day.
That's probably what you got in a day. And what's the cool thing about the system? It grows with you. If somebody's watching right now and you order their first dozen of hatching eggs, I started 5 years ago, right? I hatched out 12 eggs, had a 50% hatch rate. It's for those people, but it's also for those people who have thousands of birds. You can manage small and big. It has all the tools in there. For me, it's, for example, interesting, the time tracking to see how much time I spend on processing the birds or doing maintenance and things like that. So I can add a time log. You can do that on your mobile phone as well. So the same you see here, I can bring up here my mobile phone. Let me check if it pops up here on screen. Oh, it does. So once you have it installed on your phone, the basic functions then are available there. It's just too many apps, but there's an app for everything. And now there's an app where you can manage your blog, but also keep track of what you're doing. And here, Quail OS installed on the actual mobile phone. Looks good as well. A little bit on a small screen, but the basic functions are here too. And if I just quickly want to log eggs, I click in here and say, okay, I just collected now 20 eggs, a huge amount. Why not? I can make notes, say, it was freezing today, so it's probably just going to be freezing here in Jersey. Here we go. Okay. Sorry, when you control your mobile phone from your computer, it's sometimes a little messy, but here it is. Yeah. It has a ton of functionality built in. What I like is that you can have your customers in here as well. My customer list here is huge, as you can tell. But the cool thing is, if you want an option to quickly contact your customer, we do have a text messaging model. And so if you have the phone number of your customer in here, you have this little bubble. If you enable the text messaging, because a lot of people who start out of Quail, they might not have a separate number for their business. I like to keep private and business separated. His number in here is not my private number. That's my business number. And so you could also sign up and get your own business number. And then you can send text messages right here from the app as well and say, okay, hey, got extra eggs, want some? or whatever it might be, something you want to quickly contact the customer about it. If your shipment is delayed because you're still waiting for ads or whatever it might be, you can just do it right out of the app here to a single customer, but you also have the option that you have that synchronized and you have a distribution list. So you can send 100 text messages to your customer. The reason why I put in text messages is there's not really a spam filter for text messages other than on your mobile phone operator level. Text messages are usually seen by people much quicker than emails because who is checking their email all the time? But if you get a text message to your mobile phone, you might see it quicker. So it also has a bit of marketing tools built in here. So we all have that every once in a while. We sit on a ton of eggs. So wouldn't it be great to have a quick functionality to contact your main customers for eating eggs and just very quickly send out a couple of text messages instead of doing that on your phone? You can do it from your business number right here in the interface, and it helps you to get your eggs sold.
Can you segment your list, your customer list there?
Yeah, that's possible in the text messaging application. That one is actually really powerful. I would need another at least half an hour just to show that, what that can do. But it's integrated here as well. So yes, you have a ton of different functionalities there. It even has birthday reminders and things. But yeah, the cool thing is, if you think about it, you start out a business and let's say you get your first customer and it's like a little store down the road. You sell them eating ads every week and they say, I need an invoice. So now you need a software which can do invoices, right? So that's why we have the sales orders in here. I can quickly create a new sales order. I select my customer. I have so many in here. I put in the items from my inventory. Let's say I sell those guys some whole birds. It has the option here for tax and shipping and all that. And I can say, is it already completed? Is it not completed? And so on. I can save that order and I can instantly print that out here as well. So this one, I just did that. Click the print button. And then with your actual farm's logo and your address, you have an invoice ready for that customer. So it's very easy as well. And you can keep track. Did they pay you already or is it still open? So very, very easy for a farm to quickly make an invoice for one of their customers, right?
Does it take money?
Doesn't do the payment yet, but that's something I'm thinking about integrating in the future as well, that you can take payments right on Quail OS as well, yeah. But most people have Venmo or have other options, but definitely the cool thing about Quail OS, it's community driven. So if any of the people using the application have a great idea, they can submit the idea and I look at it and if it's a good idea, then we're going to do it. So that's done actually down here. We have a roadmap and that roadmap is not for my yearly camping trips in the summertime where I like to visit other farms. Our roadmap is for the ideas what people have and bring up. And you see there's some ideas. For example, text messaging for hatch reminders, either for yourself or for your customers. Shipping integrations for your online store, for example. All kinds of different options. And here I publicly show what people have submitted and in what stage it is. And if you have a great idea, you can go on help and support and request a feature in here. So that's the cool thing as well, because there's of course a lot of apps out there you can do, manage your flock. Or there's apps out there for shipping and there's apps out there for accounting. But to have everything in one app, that's pretty cool because you don't have multiple apps to manage. You can do all in one application. So that keeps it neat, simple. And if you need help, you just open up a support ticket and get back to you and help you out if you have a question about the application or anything like that. But a very simple system, I think. The navigation, I want to keep it clean. Because I've seen a lot of apps in the past. I don't like it that things are sometimes so small on the screen that you barely can read it. I mean, yes, you could zoom in here if you wanted to, if you want it even bigger. But the cool thing is, yes, you use it on your phone, you use it on your tablet, you use it on your computer. So it always keeps the same data on your fingertips. And it gets really cool if it comes to shipping. So I'm just going to switch over to my test environment here. And has a ton of functionality, but the shipping is really cool because it has something absolutely new. Nobody has that yet. I came up with it by talking to people and based on my own experiences. And I'm going to show you real quick what it does. So once you have a customer in your system, you have the option to select the customer in here. And then you prepare your shipping like you do in any other shipping app, right? But what you can do before you even create a label or look at the rates, you can do a risk check on that specific address. And we all had our issues in the past. If you think about people buying on eBay or other platforms, I had a few people trying to scam me. And so this risk assessment basically is community driven, and you can maintain a list, which is a good egg or a bad egg list, right? And so you can, on every address, do such a check. We won't have data of every single address, obviously. But what it does here, it shows you if any other farm using the system had a bad experience with that buyer, right? For example, a chargeback. If you think about it, a chargeback on your online store costs you about $45, $50. If somebody says for whatever reason, oh, I only got a 50% hatch rate, I'm not going to pay you. I want to call my credit card company and want the money back, right? We don't like that very much, I guess. Anybody selling egg doesn't really like things like that. And so with the risk assessment, you can access and see, is it a good buyer or is it a bad buyer or is it a neutral, right? Can be neutral as well. So in this case, it says good. Let's see. If I change my address here to another house number, 13, very unlucky number, and I do it again, that unlucky number really shows, this guy here, this address is actually listed in my own farm as a bad egg, and 2 other farms listed it as a bad egg as well. So I might think twice if I ship something to those guys or not, because if 2 other farms already say, oh, that buyer, be careful. It could be that their mailing address was not available. I had that a couple of times. It's always nice, especially in the summer or springtime. If you send out some hatching eggs, they go to the destination and then they come all the way back and then they stink up your mailbox because they traveled twice the distance and were not delivered on time because address was completely wrong what the customer gave you. Happened to me multiple times. So now I can add that address into my risk management tab here, and then it's warning me the next time across all my different online stores, right?
So do you do that in the customer profile? You mark them as good or bad?
Yeah, it's pretty easy. I'll show you over here in the risk management tab. It lets you decide if you want to share it with the community or not. And you have here your good eggs and you have your bad eggs, right? So if you decide to share it, it's anonymously. So obviously we won't tell the other farm that it's specifically on your list, right?
Right.
Christmas is coming up, right? So it's a little bit like, he's making a list and he checks it twice and you can do this. So if you get on the bad Santa list, you can just add an address in here with the zip code. So we don't really store any personal data. We just store public data, which is an address, right? You can do that here for your own farm. You can import your customers to the good egg list that you don't have to enter them all manually. You can just pull them in from your customer tab. And you can decide to share that with other farms so you help protecting other businesses as well. And you benefit from the other farms sharing the bad eggs with you as well, right? There's Facebook groups who do this kind of stuff, but let's face it, who has time to look at Facebook when before you ship an order, if there is anybody listed as a bad egg? Not so easy. So here you can manage that for your own farm, but you have the option to share it. And of course, as more farms do that, as safer the system gets. So very new function.
I think that's pretty neat. I mean, most breeders or sellers have their ways of keeping up with good eggs or bad eggs.
Mm-hmm.
I think some of us have longer lists than others. Mine isn't very long because I have a short memory, but
Yeah.
That's pretty nifty. Okay, go back to your shipping thing.
Okay.
So your shipping rates, let's talk about your shipping rates.
Sure. I just put in any address right now. I just put in one of a friend. The shipping rates, it's pretty straightforward. You can click here, get rates, and you see the actual rates for that specific package here. What's really cool as well, before we get to the rates, is the destination weather. That's something also which is going to be released this week. So what you see now, you're the first to see that. And I believe this is the first shipping software who actually considers the weather. And I get that from the national NOAA, from proper people who hopefully know how the weather is going to be. You have here a 7-day forecast at the time of shipping. So that's great when you do live bird shipping, but also for hatching eggs. You want to check, okay, is it going to be freezing at the destination when I ship it out? Texas here, for example, it looks good. It's not going to be freezing. Okay, I ship it out. And those rates, they are pulled in automatically from the shipping carrier. I still have to negotiate with one of them. So right now we have USPS and UPS in there. FedEx will be added as well. And then you select here the best rate you want to have for that specific package, right? You can look at our rate card here, and we have it here as well. So there it shows you this is the test system right now, so it might not show everything right now. But it will show you all the zones here. There's only a couple of shipping zones overall, and with the weight. And then you can go down, or you can select here, show me only priority mail, for example. And if there is a change of shipping rates, the Postal Service likes to do it twice a year. This will update automatically as well. And on your farm tier, your bronze farm, silver, gold, or diamond, that decides on the shipping rate you get. You can preview it here. So we'll see, okay, if you're willing to pay a small monthly fee, then you get better shipping rates. So it's great for farms when you grow, that you can say, okay, I start off as a free farm. I don't pay any monthly fees. I just pay when I need the shipping label. And that's it. But then once your business grows, you can upgrade and get better shipping rates here as well. And yeah, it's straightforward. And then you just create your label in here, and that's it. So if I go back here into my shipping screen, pull it up one more time. I just make a funny package there. Nice. Here is not good. Here we go. You check your rates. You need to have a shipping balance. So I already have a balance in here. You could top it up here. So this is a paid function, obviously, because the labels need to get paid. I can buy that label now. Really, I wanted to keep the screen clean as well, because there's a lot of shipping software out there where it's very complicated to use it. And I wanted to keep it simple. So here's now my label. Obviously, that's a sample here. But I could print it then straight away on my label printer. Has your address on it. And all done. And then it actually saves it down here. So in case you made a mistake and you need to void that label, you can do it. Another thing is we actually save the weather data. Know exactly, okay, how was the weather forecast at the time when you shipped that? Okay, this one was getting pretty cold here. Okay. So you have that information later on as well, in case the customer comes back to you with a complaint or anything. You can look it up, how the weather was at their address. And another cool functionality is that you can send the tracking number. If you have the text messaging enabled here, you can send that tracking number straight to the mobile phone of your customer. So it's not doing an email like everybody does. It actually sends a text message. Because I get a lot of emails every day. I try to read them all, but some might fall through the cracks. But if in a text message, I usually read it straight away. And so this click the button. And if I would have not a little issue, what I'm fixing right now here in this environment, it would send the message. But that's how it is on my test environment. Yeah, a lot of functionality built in.
Can I import from my website to print the label there?
That's something I'm developing right now. Right now, I do eBay, I do Shopify, and then there will be all those other shop systems, Etsy and Wix and Square. So that all needs to be developed, but the look and feel will be very similar as it is here. Obviously, you're going to just select one of your online orders, right? So it's already in development right now, and it will be updated into the actual software in the next couple of weeks. I never release something where I'm not 100% sure it's working, so I test it first myself, have some other people testing it, and then it's being released for everybody. And so the system is actively being developed. So that's a nice thing as well, because a lot of those apps you find online, nobody's doing with it. The developer kind of gave up and doesn't really improve the system anymore. So this is always growing, and I release it now with a basic functionality, but obviously heavy duty users like you who have different online stores and all that, you want to be able to configure that and have a smooth kind of transition. Maybe put your existing shipping software to the curb. So that's being developed right now. It's not ready yet to show.
So another thing that I do that some people won't even realize is done is I use a lot of different ship from addresses. Some things are shipped from me, some things are shipped from Bryant's Roost, from just whatever. So can I do multiple ship from addresses?
Yeah, that will be possible as well. Right now, with the basic settings, you have just this in the settings, then configure this one in here. But on the roadmap, we already have something which is allowing multiple from addresses, but also I want to foster the cooperation between farms. And as you know, with Undike, I have a network of farms and where we help each other out as well, or basically Undike acts kind of the hub. And many farms are shipping eggs for Undike. So we have right now 14 different ship from addresses, right? Because the way we do it is when we get an order on Amazon or in a platform, then we look, are these eggs available somehow close to the customer? And based on that, we choose which farm is shipping it and which ship from address we're using. Right now, I'm using a different software for that, and I pay $140 a month for that. Without even making a single label, I pay $140 with that software. So obviously my goal is one of the first things I want to do now is to replace that software. So it will come in here as well that you can have multiple ship addresses, but you also have the option to say, okay, I want to assign this order now to a different farm. Well, I don't have this kind of eggs, but we do work together, and basically it's a little bit like drop shipping. You'll have that functionality built in as well. Yeah.
Well, I have two things that I've noticed while you were talking. And one is, first of all, thank you, because it's nice to support other farms versus just big conglomerates. And second of all, for people just getting started, me and you have the wisdom of several years of growing in a way that the computer industry isn't really built for. Almost have to push through to a degree. And so for somebody just getting started, this sounds like it would grow with them versus us having to piecemeal we've been doing for several years.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the thing. I wasted so much money on different software packages in the past because, okay, you do QuickBooks for accounting, and then you do the shipping software, and then you do some other tracking stuff. All those subscriptions, they add up. Even now, till today, I still have a few left. And as I develop more in Quail OS, I can replace these solutions. Instead of paying several $100s a month just for the software I need to run my business, it's only at your fingertips. Exactly. I wrote about that in my book, which I released now as well, which is in here in the library. And all this wisdom is coming in here now as well with different guides and things like that in the library. So people can read things. I will have different use cases. How do I sell balut eggs, for example? I have sold them. I've sold them even online. I still do that. Or little how-to videos. It's not really aimed at very new beginners. And is anybody who is already after that stage, okay, I have hatched my first eggs. Now I want to put that into a business. What is next? And something which happened for me in the beginning as well was I was flying totally blind, and I did not know, do I actually make any money with this? When I first started, I just wanted to have some eggs for myself. And then it was growing into a business. I was not setting out buying quail eggs to do a quail business.
I got you. I understand.
We should have a therapy group for people who accidentally ended up with a quail business, I guess.
Exactly.
And one of my first challenges was to prove to my wife that we actually make money with that. Because she's, it was kind of a conversation. Are you insane? You're leaving your IT job to make money with quail eggs.
Yeah.
And we had that conversation 3 years ago. And I was, yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. I wish I would have had something like this reporting feature here where I can actually show the numbers. Okay, how much, sales we had, how many expenses I had. Obviously, in this demo account here, it looks a bit not that great right now here, but I want to be able to tell, okay, how many eggs I'm going to get over the next couple of days. Actually build in a forecasting as well. So you can say, okay, based on the eggs I collected in the last 12 weeks, I want to have a forecast how many eggs I'm going to collect next week. So it has this prediction in here as well. And all this reporting, or if I want to see how is my hatching going this year so far, I can look at all the hatches I had this year and see them here in comparison. Obviously, again, this is not real data because I hatched a few more times than just 2 times here or 3 times here. But you get the idea with the demo data installed. Or you said earlier on, how much feed did I actually use? It shows you here as well how much feed was used in that specific time frame. If you track that, if you're interested, or how much sales do I have and all these things. Even if you start out as a hobby and your husband or your wife and whatever you want to prove to the other side, yeah, look, we make money with Quail. Here is the numbers because you entered everything. Each time you spend some money, each time you made some money, you put it in there. And then it's at your fingertips and you can say, yeah, we actually do make some money on this. And over time, it tells you, okay, what is my top product, for example, right? So a lot of options in here. For me, it's important how much time do I spend on it, for example. I see I spend a lot of time with feeding, maybe not as much time on actually cleaning. Maybe I should be the other way around. Look out there, or maybe it should. So it's just helping people once they get started or if they're already in business to kind of streamline the business a bit and have actual numbers there. Because when you look online on those different Facebook groups, the people always ask, how much should I charge for my eggs? Or how much do you sell a bird? And all these things. And here is your answers. Once you know how much time you spend on actually hatching and caring for your quail, you get a bit of better sense for how much you can charge for your eggs, for example. So there's a lot of tools in there. And with input from people like you and others, it will grow and we will add on more and more functionality, which helps people to get into the business or to run their business.
I could see that somebody just getting started, this would be super helpful. Yes, absolutely. Instead of just trying to use pencil and paper and spreadsheets, which is that's what we tried to do. And I ended up with whiteboards and taking pictures of the whiteboards.
We all did that. I had down here a couple of them still standing around. Exactly. Or really simple tasks as well. I mentioned earlier on the price list. So if you're not good with computers and things like that, then not everybody's good with computers, and that's fine. I'm built in here as well to make it simple for you to have a price list here. I can say, okay, actually, I sell some English white as well, for example. And you can put a price here per dozen or per single egg, depending how you make it. And you can save that and you say, okay, I need a simple price list now, what I can give to customers. So you can just download it here. And here's your price list. So it has your business information on top, when it's valid from, and all the different things you're selling. And you can also download that as a picture so you can share it on Facebook. Some people might spend an hour to make a price list for their business. Here it took how long? I don't know, 30 seconds? It's really easy.
And I'll tell you something else is that you make the price list in your head and then you put it in notes on your phone and then you tell people and then what did I tell them again exactly? So you're scrolling back through the messages and stuff. If it was all in one place like this, and it prepared answers basically. So you always tell people the exact same thing. So if they come back and say, no, you said it was $1 a dozen, you know that they're not telling you the truth. I learned that in my day job. You have standard answers. That's what I called it, standard answers. You have to have standard answers. That way, when they come back and they're, no, that's not what you said. You said this. You can go, yeah, I would never say that.
You have it here on your fingertips. You can keep copies of those PDFs of this price list. So once you change your prices, you see the date stamp on it. You say, oh, yeah, the price list is from last year. Sorry. Okay, so there's a lot of things built in which should help with this kind of stuff. And it's the same thing with vendors, for example. I buy on Amazon things for the business. I buy local stores, hardware stores, Tractor Supply. So I can keep track here of my vendors as well if I want to. And at the end of the year, if I'm wondering with my profit and loss, so why is it a loss here? I can go and drill into that a little bit and see where do I spend my money on. And I can, if I track it here I can go back here into my reports and I see the vendor purchases. And I can see here, if I have the data in here, of course, okay, how much did I spend for the quail in Home Depot? How much I spent on Amazon for quail-related stuff? How much egg foam did I buy? How much I spent on hatching eggs or all that stuff? It will tell you here as well. You have the data. You see exactly how often you ordered from somebody. So you have that at your fingertips. And I think that's important because often people run a business without numbers. And then they wonder, why don't they make money with it?
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen that, and you're for sure too, over the years, there is quail businesses. But although in the chicken world or whatever, you see somebody popping up there, and then a year later, you don't hear anything anymore because their numbers were not adding up, right? And with that report functionality, it will just help people hopefully to be successful, at least to be a little bit more informed about what's going on in their business.
Well, if you keep all your receipts in one place, your CPA will thank you later.
Oh, yeah. That's a nice one. I'm already having the idea that you might have the option to give your CPA the access to the financial part of the application. So if they ask, your accountant is doing your taxes, you could give them access and say, okay, get your data there. It's all in there.
Well, if you could just download it into a spreadsheet or a PDF, just email. I always email all that stuff.
Right.
Just email it.
The option, exactly. That's a good point you're raising because the export thing is another thing which I take very serious. We have that here on that specific page, but you can take out all your data in the data management. Because I hate that if some apps don't allow that because they want to kind of lock you in.
Mm-hmm.
But everything you put into Quail OS is your data. How many chickens you got, how many quail you got, how many turkeys you got, how many eggs you produce. This is all your data, so you should have access to your data at any given time. And if you decide that you don't want to use that anymore, fine, then, but you can at least get all your data you entered, you can export it right to your computer. As a normal CSV, as a spreadsheet format, you can export it and take it anywhere else, or just keep it as a local backup, right? But that's, for me, when I look for a software solution, I always look, okay, can I somehow back up my data? Because if I enter here now the entire year, every single day, how many eggs I collect, I want to have that locally safe just in case. But I don't want to lose that data. Obviously, this is all running on the cloud infrastructure. There's backups and all these things, and it's secure and encrypted. But just in case you want to keep your data locally, you can export it here at any given time. And your time entering the data here is not wasted because you still have your data in any case.
All right. Well, let's recap for just a second. Using it is free.
That's right.
But if you want to start using the shipping part of it and get the better rates, that's where the cost starts coming in.
That's it. That's right. Exactly. And it's really straightforward there as well. We have it in the settings page, but on the main page as well. There's different subscriptions. The bronze tier, the starter tier is free and will always stay free. Crossing fingers, I'm waiting to hear back from a sponsor to keep that free, but that's the plan and that's not going to change. We'll figure that out. And then there's different other tiers, silver, gold, and diamond with different features. With gold and diamond, actually, I do kind of a coaching call as well for people who want it. We do like a monthly business call where we look into different things, different questions and answers, right? How do I make labels for my dog treats I want to sell? Or what are even requirements to sell on a farmer's market? Or what about NPIP? All kinds of different things we can discuss on such a call. But the main difference is then better shipping rates as well. Or, for example, what access you get here in the library. But it's really straightforward. And compared to what other tools are costing, if you think about books, if you think about shipping software, if you think about weather forecast is for free. Okay. But think about how much it costs you if somebody tries to scam you, right? With an order, it is comparison actually pretty cheap. Yeah. But it helps to keep the platform running. Obviously, with running a software, there is cost with that. And so that helps here. But I try to keep it accessible for people because I don't like it I don't like it myself when things are so expensive. And it's not like I have a huge operation and 100 people sitting behind me I have to pay, right? So I can do it that way.
All righty. Well, thank you. Well, tell everybody where they can find you. What's all your websites?
Yeah, the main website, Quail OS, you find it at quailos.com. And that's the software, and that's the newest project, right? With all the experience I gathered from the last 5 years. For eggs, people know where to go. That's fine. But yeah, if you want to have more information about Quail OS, the features, look that up. But that's all on quailos.com.
Okay. And then you do rent a hatch and sell. People can put stuff on your marketplace and all that kind of stuff, right?
On Undike, we have a business incubator where I help people, for example, to launch their products on Amazon. If you have a great product, you say, hey, I would love to sell it on Amazon, but I don't know how to do that. That's what I do with the Undike Business Incubator, exactly. You can find it through undike.us or undike.biz. And yeah, rent a hatch is an option. And we have it mentioned in here as well if you want to run your own incubator rentals for families or schools. That helps this website with that. Yeah, I cover a few different angles from the industry because I'm a little bit like a Swiss Army knife. It comes to computers. I'm Austrian, but I as a child, I always loved Swiss Army knives. And yeah, well, you can make the Swiss Army knife as well for all your needs around running a poultry or game bird business. Yeah.
All right. Well, I very much appreciate you joining us today.
Thank you also for having me, and I wish you guys all a Merry Christmas and a good start into the new year.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.